various positive emotions cause feelings of pleasure. So this has gradually led to the development of emotional egoism, i.e., searching for ways to give oneself as much pleasure as possible and to stay in that state as long as possible. This characteristic is shared by all beings whose brains are sufficiently developed to be able to generate positive emotions, and whose constant desire to feel good is hardwired into their genes through evolution. Through evolutionary processes in the brain, this need for pleasure has evolved not only as an additional incentive to avoid confronting negative sensations from the environment, but also as a motivational tool to improve oneself in order to satisfy one's own needs as quickly and as visibly as possible, which results in pleasurable sensations. This constant desire to get as much pleasure out of life as possible and to stay in this state for as long as possible is the main impetus for societal progress, because newer and newer means for satisfying various physiological and psychological needs are developed during society's improvement. And the more fully a need is satisfied, the more pleasure is derived from it, which leads to an even greater desire to continue to improve the instruments which are used for satisfying that need for even greater efficiency of it. And consequently, that causes even greater or more lasting sense of pleasure, by the way. There should be certain limits applied so that the intensity of pleasure wouldn't go beyond the point where the brain starts to feel emotionally fatigued. Because in such case, the areas of the brain responsible for generating emotions are weakened, as they do not have time to rest and regain their full capacity, and therefore their further ability to generate positive emotions is suppressed, and for that reason, the same activities start giving less pleasure than before. If people did not have this need to pursue pleasure, there would be no progress in such a society, because people would see no reason to improve themselves or change anything in their lives. They would only need the most primitive means for satisfying their basic existential needs and for defending themselves from negative environmental factors that threaten their lives, i.e., they would be guided only by the need for survival, which is encoded in their ancient instincts.